sold as is on the first contract, and you get to the resolutions, are you telling me you can still ask for stuff?
Yes.
It depends on what they clicked on the as-is document. They share.
You can still
You can
ask.
also ask.
You can always still ask.
But set the expectation.
Can't go to amendment?
On the, what she's talking about is the innocent present condition addendum. If you check the box that you waive your rights to renegotiate, but you may cancel, if you send me a resolution asking for repairs, if that period expires, you're taking it as is, the inspection period. Because if you waive your rights to renegotiate, you have two choices, to take it or to cancel it. And that's not people too.
You can always ask.
You know?
Yes,
Yeah.
but they can enforce it.
But if they have it in MLS that way, I think you prep your people to understand that this is the way that they are coming at us, and we might have to take it that way if that's in the end what you decide within your inspection period, your due diligence time. But it's okay to ask. I think a lot of people assume that as is means, with the exception of what Brenda said, get to that point.
In my 14 years, I never took something without the right of inspections. I
There
don't,
were two, probably in the last month, where two of our agents got into, agents felt like because it said as is, they couldn't cancel. I said, nothing says that you can't cancel. Nobody took your right away. So you have to be real specific. Use that in its present condition form so everybody's clear of what's going on. Because if you don't take away the right to cancel, they can't.
And I think too, we don't really do a good, some agents don't do a good job of explaining to the sellers what as is means. Because if you're willing to make a $20 repair, then we're not selling this house as is.
right.
You know, so I think sometimes agents just, the client's like, I don't want to make repairs as is, you know what I mean?
So when you're having that conversation with the seller right from the beginning, the word as is, are we now negotiating on their benefit of how this house is going to be perceived by all of the buyers out there? So I think one of the greatest things, and correct me if you have a different opinion on this, I think one of the greatest negotiation strengths we have as real estate agents is understanding our business and just being right up front with people. Like, hey, man, it is your right to sell this house as is. You're probably costing yourself quite a bit. Let me tell you why I do that. And then just have that conversation. There's a book out by, I got several things for you to references. There's a book I just told Janet about, Fierce Conversations by Susan Scott. If you've never read or listened to that on Audible, that is a must read, must listen to. Susan Scott, Fierce Conversations. It's just about how to communicate.
Something else about it, if you're done exhausting your seller and negotiations on the original price, remind them at that time, you still have to get through inspections, so don't tap yourself out here.
Right. Yeah.
They'll be mad when someone comes back and wants more money.
Did everybody hear Brenda ask?
No.
Okay, Brenda, can you say it again and go a little bit deeper?
When you're negotiating the price, don't let your sellers tap completely out. Let them know, don't go to your lowest here, you still have to get through inspections. Otherwise, they're gonna go to their lowest dollar at the price there and not wanna budge, and then inspections come around, and boy, they're mad because somebody wants them to spend more money. I said I wasn't spending any more money. So remind them during the price negotiations, you have inspections still, keep that in mind.
So we're back to expectations as a form of negotiation. And she just triggered something in my memory that I have a great deal of dispassion for. And that is using high buying prices so that you can go back and ask for it all back in the inspections. So any thoughts on that? Does it, you know what I'm saying? So like you'll offer 210 on a 200 home, but then you're telling your client, hey, but don't worry, after inspections we'll ask for $10,000 back. You know, does that? If you're doing that, I don't think it's illegal.
And when the buyer's offering to
Setting a bad expectation.
Well, so you know it's a multiple bid situation. So you go in and you offer more than you expect because you go in with the attitude of, well, during inspections, I'm just going to go ahead and get like my $10,000 back or my $5,000 back, whatever it is. You're going in with the expectation, we'll find something to lower the price.
Okay. Oh, okay. Now I understand.
It's not really negotiating in good faith.
It's not negotiating in good faith.
And what if that seller has that backup offer when that time comes?
Yep. So if you're doing that, I would probably rethink your strategies. Because by the way, are we negotiating with other agents all the time?
Mm-hmm.
So we're negotiating with other agents anytime you talk to them. And if Jim does that to me once, do I remember the next time Jim gives me an offer what happened last time? I am remembering that very much in the negotiation changes the next time I see Jeff. First of all, the negotiation is, I don't trust it, right from the beginning. I would also say that in this buyer's market, and I want to go through this, negotiation is communication. In a buyer's market right now, I don't think you can over-communicate with the listing agent enough.
I agree.
You agree with that?
Yes,
So-
I think it helps you win deals when you've got that very good communication.
I believe that on the way over to the house, you call them and say, hey, listen, taking my buyers by at 6 o'clock. I just want to make sure it's still available. Great. Hey, here's a text while I'm in there showing, hey, I think they're going to make an offer. I'll let you know. You know, and then call them. Hey, we're making an offer. And by the way, I'm sending it to your email. Let me know if it should be
I'd drill
somewhere
in a
else.
little bit more about that point too, are there any hot buttons? For instance, when we're in the middle of, these folks they've been on the market a bit, and their build job is getting pushed out. He said, goodness, if you could push the close date back to this date, that would be so helpful to us. And I said, oh, great, good to know. But, you know, if there's anything else in there that's important to know,
So the negotiations already began.
I do it kind of subtly, just, hey, by the way, you know, what's going on here?
I've even gone so far as asking, hey, what's the seller's motivation?
Well.
And then they just start vomiting. We once bought a house in Waldo. Ryan and I had decided we were going to offer 100 flat for the house because it was an investment property back like 12 years ago. We were going to offer 100. That I called the agent. I said, hey, by the way, what's the motivation here? By the time the phone call was over, because I had him on speaker, Ryan and I offered him 85 and he took it.
Yeah.
So it's just because he kept talking.
The new area in the contract may kind of cut down on that a little bit because it really brings to mind every time when they are going through the listing agreement with their, listing agreement instead of the contract. That may, you know, the area that says, do you give your agent permission to tell the whole, yeah.
I would like to believe that's true, but I also believe that humans
It's
are
possible.
humans.
Yes,
And
right.
Some will just talk too much, especially if you're kind of smooth.
Yeah, and we know you are.
Well, that goes to, listen, we can't go through all of these things today, but what I wanted to put in this packet right here is that there's 25 negotiating tactics. This is, by the way, let me show you something. If you go to KW Connect, and Candace, let me get on hers real fast, and you hit resources, and you go down to KWU, and then you go to courses. One of the great value propositions of Keller Williams is look at all of these classes that we have available. And you go all the way down to the bottom, and there's one called Win-Win Negotiations. And you can go right there, and then you can go to Materials. And then you can go to the student file. You can even go to the teacher file if you're really so inclined. And you have 157 pages of a Keller Williams class if you want to go through and learn more about win-win negotiations in detail.
You don't need to purchase them.
Nope. You can just print them yourself or just read the PDF. And so we have access to any kind of category that you want to go through. And so you'll also find in here these 25 different tactics. And I'll come back to that in a second. The seller's agent worksheet. This is a great sheet to follow down, especially if you're just taking in the phone calls. You've got the buyer's agent. You're beginning the negotiation process right by finding out all of these different things. And then for some, I think Pam, no, not Kedge, Pam, gosh, she's at the Old Park office.
Hendricks?
Why am I forgetting her? So tell her.
Yeah, how could you forget her?
Ken's bigger than I am, so, but she used to, I think, use this negotiation worksheet all the time, if I'm not mistaken. You have a negotiation worksheet that you can actually keep track of the things that are really important to the buyers or the sellers. You can put this in your files, or however you choose to keep track of your deals.
I
Pretty
also
cool, huh?
try to, when I'm talking to the other agents, and I tell them I'm gonna send over an offer, and I mentioned, I said, let's have a win-win for both, everybody.
Sure. You just set the expectations right from the beginning.
Right, that doesn't always work.
So I think Steve, was it Steve that went to, you said, taking the drama out of the deal? Here's what I would almost do. I would take an X and I would put it through drama, and I would replace it with, take your ego out of the deal. Who is all of this about? Is it about you going around going, oh man, I really got married today? You know, I really won the deal. No, we're looking for the sellers to have a price they want, the buyers to have a price they want. I mean, somebody is going to win or lose. I always believe that somebody does a little bit better, right? And yet, if they both get what they want, do they really win or lose?
They both win.
Both.
Unless something drastically happens.
Hey, Chris, can
Yes.
I throw something out? I
Yes.
had a deal recently with a newer agent, and he was very frustrated with our offer,
Mhm.
and they just got all blown out of proportion and sent it back and just said, we're mad and we cancel. And I said, could you please just counter? No, we're mad, we cancel.
Mhm.
So I had a heck of a time dragging out of him, and I knew he'd not done very many deals, but always counter back, don't just cancel.
Yeah.
See where
I know.
the hot buttons are, and back to Clarissa's
Yeah,
point.
I think going off what she just said is the agent got upset before
Exactly.
he even talked to his seller.
Yeah.
And it's just telling your seller, hey, this is a low offer, but they're trying to see if you're gonna budge a little
But
bit,
always-
so let's
but always
counter it back and.
Yeah, always counter, please always
Yeah,
counter.
always.
If you're gonna send in a low offer, what would be a good strategy for that?
Tell them up front.
Tell them up front.
Tell them why.
Yeah,
Tell them why.
And then tell them, don't go to their client and go, this is a low offer, because my opinion doesn't matter as a real estate agent, it's my client's opinion.
Right.
Just present it and go, this is what it is, do you like it or not?
If it's a complex low offer, if there's a really good reason, do you have the right to present that to the seller? If you're a buyer's agent, do you have the right to present that to the seller? Absolutely you do.
Write a letter, write
I wrote
a
a letter
list,
before and-
you know.
Write a letter.
Is that
This
listed?
is why.
Speaking of letters, can we just take a 2-minute rabbit trail? Would that be okay?
Yeah.
We have Brenda in the room, okay? So, being a property manager, one of my favorite subjects across the street is the 7 protected classes. Okay, if you don't know what the 7 protected classes are, please write that down, make a note, and go find out today. Not tomorrow, today, because this is what you do. All right, Brenda, you could just come on up front. Everybody give Brenda a hand for coming. So we had a situation, I guess, where somebody was wanting, they lost an offer because the other side, I guess, they wrote a letter talking about their family, even put in a picture of their family about why they were gonna take such good care of the house. In your opinion, as broker of Keller Williams Realty, is that a possible fair housing violation? And if so, by who?
Chris, that was my deal.
Oh, was it your deal?
Yes.
Okay, I did not know that was your
Now
deal.
we all know.
So-
Yeah.
I did not know that was your deal, by the way.
Yeah, so my buyers did not have children, and we knew the sellers had children. And the listing agent asked us to write a letter. And so we obliged, and I asked him, she also said to send a picture. And I asked my buyers if they felt comfortable doing that. And he said yes, and so we sent it.
I hope that listing agent wasn't from here.
Right.
No.
So here's, listen carefully to what her answer is, and I think I know what she's gonna answer.
Okay.
So,
Well, for the seller, I mean, this is about selling their house for money, not making friends, not picking the neighbor for the people they live by.
Right.
The decision should be in that contract. There's nothing in that letter should be the decision. And when I get letters in on multiple offers, I tell the seller I have them, I said, I'm gonna hang on to them, I'll let you read them afterwards. Let's get it nailed down first. But if they want them, I'll send them, of course, it's up to that seller. It shouldn't be part of the decision. And by asking for it from you, I think they're setting themselves up for a problem. Because they've based it off of something in the letter. So let's read the letters and see what's different, right? Good way to get accused of something.
yeah, now, from a buyer's agent,
Yeah.
I would do it, because I don't think it's a fair housing violation from the buyer's agent side. You're just trying to win that for the buyer's agent, but from the seller's agent, I wouldn't present the letter until the decision's made.
No, this is a safe room, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna say I've ever done this, but you also never know if you're getting lied to. How do you know that I didn't go talk to the neighbors and find out what was important to that seller and make up a fake family with a fake picture and a fake story to send along with
Wow,
your
that's a lot of effort.
I was gonna say, that is a lot of effort.
If it's a $600,000 house, are you gonna put in that hour of work to win?
Right.
I may or may not have in the past, so.
Well, I'll present a letter, this is where we got started on. I'll present a letter if it says we're making a low offer, and these are the 7 reasons why. Or this is why on investment properties, I wrote a letter, this is why we're offering this and not this, because of the math, and I'll go through all of that kind of stuff. That's a different letter.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah.
And I think, who
Well, I had a seller that was very emotionally attached to her house because she had lived there 36-something years. And she was not gonna budge off her price, and I knew darn well it wasn't worth what she wanted. And I just told the buyer agents to submit a letter because she needed to be able to be comfortable letting go of that emotion that was attached and knowing who was going to be receiving it. Was that incorrect to do that?
If it's about if it's an explanation to the offer, I'm good. If it's write this letter and tell them that you're a single mom with 3 kids and
So that
work at a
was-
church.
How'd you know my example?
No.
Right.
Don't do that.
So are there any more questions you have for Brenda about that?
How do you feel about purchasing under an alias?
Depends
Why
why.
do that?
I mean,
What happens if they have a name that is obviously foreign? I did it 3 times last year.
I think it's almost necessary anymore, to be really fair.
I just wanted to, yeah.
Jennifer, you said that out loud. I'm just saying.
I'm curious. I had clients request it, so that's why we did it.
That they didn't want to be.
If your
Exposed.
client requested, I feel different.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say that anybody, you're gonna get treated differently, let's not use your name. Oh my gosh. Really? That's.
Yeah, there's none of that there.
It was theirs. Yeah.
But don't you feel like that, I just feel like we're seeing so many cultural differences, and I think it is unfair. In fact, back to your point about the family, I had a family, so it might have been me Chris was talking about, I had a family that just recently lost a deal, and it was a buyer, and the transaction was all about, what I heard later from the list agent was, yes, you all had the highest offer, the strongest offer, the biggest down payment, but my my sellers received a letter from a vet. They were all excited about that because he was a vet. They offered a whole lot less money, and they wanted closing costs paid, even though you all didn't. I thought that was totally.
Being a vet is not a protected class.
Well, but still, I didn't take that information back to the buyers because I just didn't think that was appropriate to be in our conversation.
I mean, reality of it is you're gonna deal with a VA loan over cash or something, you're gonna have a harder time.
Well, the list agent acknowledged that she knew that that was a whole lot less net, but that's what she said her seller wanted to do.
So, what are you hearing so far? Thank everybody, give Brenda a round of applause. Brenda asked me if she could be in this class to make sure that she could fix anything I said wrong, so.
I thought you just wanted to display 2 Jayhawks.
Rock chalk, baby.
You know,
Rock chalk.
go.
Stick to the scripts, keep it in business. Exactly. What else are you hearing so far? Nothing? Wow. Do a
Chris,
better
can I
job.
throw something out there too?
Yes.
So everybody has that, they understand about the inspection period and due diligence, and you want to look into anything that's of concern for them. KCRAR has a form that is literally like 3 long columns of different types of inspections that you could do. And it is a really helpful tool, especially to new agents, to have that on hand to educate yourself so that you can help your buyers understand all of the things that are in the marketplace that might become of a concern. Something that I've gotten to where I'm doing fairly frequently, if I see big trees in the yard, I suggest to them, hey, would you possibly want to have this sewer line checked out? It's $100. Let me tell you what, I think it's a darn good $100 bill.
If you're selling up in northeast Johnson County, you're not doing sewer line checks?
Yeah.
I'm not sure you're.
Well, but I'm even talking Old Lake Theft. I'm
Yeah,
talking
he's
back
talking.
to,
Yeah.
you know, not the areas where I would have typically expected that. And actually, we had a newer home the other day that was all clogged up.
It can happen, and I've heard estimated that 40% of the sewer lines in like Mission and Fairway area are gonna have some sort of a collapse in them. Because they're plate pipe from 75, 80, 100 years ago. It's your job to make sure that people at least know he said, I really feel strongly you should spend $120 a year. It's up to you,